Magna International is North America's largest auto parts maker, providing parts for companies such as GM, Ford, and Chrysler. It saw a 43% jump in the first quarter of their profits as the auto industry recovered. Magna founder Frank Stronach is with Adam Johnson at a Bloomberg Link event in Toronto, Canada. Adam, take it away.
Thanks, Pimm. Frank, you started this business in 1957. It was a tool and die shop. And as Pimm just said, it's now the largest auto parts supplier in North America. What's the #1 priority for a manager?
Well, the #1 priority is, first of all, to sort out the priorities. And secondly, I think employees play a very important part in the business. So you got to make sure that the employees are happy, so they not only work hard, but they also think, is their heart in it? That's very key.
So how'd you do that at Magna?
Well, by being completely transparent, being very open, and share the profits with them.
And is what's happening in the auto industry today something that you're proud of? Are they operating that way?
No, the auto industry as a whole, I think changes still have to be made in order to be competitive in the future.
Like what?
I would like to see that they have corporate constitutions. I would like to see that employees have profit and equity participation. I'd like to see that they will operate in smaller facilities, with fewer people, I should say. The facilities have to be large, where the individual doesn't get lost.
In other words, small teams.
Smaller teams, right? And naturally, nowadays, you got robotics, you got computers, automation, but try to create separate profit center. You know, if let's say, a factory in Tennessee, they would be proud. They would say, look, we're much better than ones in California. And that's, you know, those are the numbers.
Is the auto industry out of the woods?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Why not?
Well, for the simple reason, it's, look, as we all know, the dinosaurs died out. Huh? They could not adjust to the environment. So I think the auto industry has to take a look and reorganize. This should give them some breathing space. You know, the monies they got from the governments when the governments bailed out the auto industry, but they need a breathing space. And now I think it's time to sit down and say, what do we really have to do to be competitive with the rest of the world?
I sat down with the UAW president, Bob King. This is several months ago. He told me this is a new era of cooperation between management and the auto workers. Do you agree with that?
It would seem that the attempt is there right now, but then you got to follow up. You put it down on paper, right? I mean, you got to say what are the responsibilities of unions, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So you got moderate statements alone doesn't. It's helpful to say it's a new area, but you got to put it really. What is the responsibility of the unions, right? Because we do have great labor laws now, and I want to stress, Frank Stronach has never said there shouldn't be unions. Okay, but we all have to change. Unfortunately, you know, when Buzz Hargrove still was the union president here in Canada, I said to him, Buzz, we really have to sit down. If we don't change things, there won't be no jobs. I said, Buzz, you myself, we have a responsibility. What are we going to do to make sure we have jobs and great new jobs? And I said, look, Buzz, it should not be that difficult to put on one page what's important for the workers and on another page what's important for business. Because if business doesn't make a profit, the business is a liability to society. And luckily, about 2 years ago, we have signed a whole new agreement. We call the agreement an agreement of fairness based on social economic justice.
And it sounds like you're telling me everyone wins. It sounds too good to be true.
That's the idea. But you got to sort out, you know. But most of all, you should not. The unions, you cannot operate or control things from far away.
So in other words, General Motors' cost structure was too high. You had to cut it out.
Yeah, it was too high, but again, the system itself has to be changed.
Still,
no. The system itself hasn't changed. What has changed is that the unions make concession to lower the cost structure.
Does North America risk losing to China?
Well, North America has to be very careful too, right? Because when you look back in history, societies come and go. It's a slow process, but it does happen. So the United States has to take a look and see what can we do to create more employment, more exports, etc.
Now we only have about 30 seconds, but just today you named the former premier of Quebec, I believe, as chairman of the company.
No, he was the former premier, Michael Harris, as chairman of the company.
And why? Why didn't you pick someone?
Because he's a great guy. I had a chance to observe him for many years when he was the lead director. I think he's a great guy, and he's got my full endorsement.
What can he do for Magna that someone in the business couldn't have done?
I think he is. I think sometimes it's good to have an outsider, you know, because you bring a different dimension to the business, right? The insiders, you have the management. They should know. They gotta explain, and they gotta transmit to the board that what they do is the right thing, and the board will analyze it. The board will question it and come to a conclusion.
Okay, Frank Stronach, it's all about business and politics coming together here in Toronto.